Hey everybody, I hope you're doing great. Gonna be sharing some psychic wisdom, energy healing, some kind of adventure in the infinite universe. I'm gonna be doing that today. I have no idea what the message is going to be, but it's gonna be supportive. It's gonna be creative. It's gonna be wise. And if you can keep up with it, it might just reach something inside yourself, give you something new to think about outside of the day-to-day news, day-to-day crazy, and go into something a little bit more meaningful. Right here, right now with me. Okay, before I start, I'm just going to close my eyes, share the images that come, fill you in on the details as I experience them. And before I do that, if I can help you in some way, join my Patreon community. I'm offering 6 live stream events in April. I've already done 3 of the 6 where I'm doing mini readings for people who come. So if you like a reading with me, join the support, the empowerment, or the love and light tier, and let me help you. I'll put a link in the description to my Patreon community so you can go visit and see what you think. Love to have your company. There's something new happening every month. So this month I'm focusing on just sharing mini psychic wisdom energy healing sessions with those people who want to come and reap the reward of transformation. Because that's what I'm all about. Okay, I'm going to relax now. Do the thing I said I was going to do. Psychic wisdom energy healing for you. Right now, what is the most meaningful message that I can share today? It begins like this. There's a very ancient man. He's in a stone. So the stone is chiseled out. And I see that what is chiseled is a man who represents time. A very ancient man. He reminds me of Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron is this very, very old angel. I like Archangel Metatron. He's got a dark and light side and everything in between. He's incredibly wise. He's wiser than you could put your finger on. He's extremely helpful. Very cool angel to work with. And so naturally, there's a very long white beard. It's not a fancy modern day outfit. This old man chiseled into it is like a mountain. He's in that thinking position. Long white beard and just very simple cloth that he wears. Kind of like a Gandalf the Grey might wear. In deep thought. I feel at a distance. And in some way, you'd have to be at a distance to be able to see the bigger picture. And so I'm like, I don't know, I'm a good ways back. If I was really close to this carving, I wouldn't be able to see it all. I wouldn't be able to make it out. I have to be standing back in order to see it all, to be able to see what is actually chiseled here. And then think about what it means to me. It could be as simple as, ooh, that's cool. Wow, I wonder who chiseled that. What an interesting thing to just chisel into a mountain. And why did they want to chisel that picture in particular? Or I could find myself feeling a little bit more like the chiseled image. Almost like, something of an ancient self, something of the ancient man of time, the Archangel Metatron that I am, in a deep reflective place, and that I could be also a representation of that. Is it art? Yeah, it's art. Sound like a painting though. How long would it take to chisel this image of an old thinking man into the side of a mountain? And what kind of skill would it take? That's art. That's an achievement. And that's time itself, because Stone has a way of just holding a shape for a long time. So thousands of years later, you could still see it, still captured in that moment, this art. And what is art if it's not a representation of ourself somehow? And that's what makes it kind of fun. I try to figure out what it means to you. So I stand here and I wait. And I say, Archangel Metatron, that's you. Or maybe Father Time. Maybe Father Time is Archangel Metatron too. And I say, I'm saying that with all solidity, because I'm taking ownership that is solidly what that means to me. I see you in this, and I see you looking back at me in this. I see, Father Time or Grandpa Time or great-great-great-grandpa Time. I mean, like old representation of what time can actually look like the rise and the fall of a mountain. I mean, that's time right there. I say, I don't doubt myself. I don't doubt where I stand, what I'm looking at, and what it means to me. I know what it means to me. And if someone were to say, no, you're wrong, Abbey, that's this, I say, cool. So then you see it like that. And that's your thing. And I see it like this, and that's my thing. And so you could ask yourself, listening to this, what do you see? If you were to take a moment to try to put yourself in a place where an old man is chiseled into a mountainside, what does it mean to you? And somehow in that, you'll find a mirror into yourself. You'll get to know yourself more deeply. And all it was art. But it was extraordinary. And you got to see it. And you got to step back and see the bigger picture. And you got to contemplate it. You got to find yourself in it. So now I'm continuing to pause. And there's silence. And I hear Archangel Metatron is like, so how long are you going to stand there and think about this, talk about this? And I say, I can stand here, Archangel Metatron, for 1 billion years, and I could turn 1 billion years into a second. So I don't know. I mean, a second? I'm standing here for a second, or I'm standing here for an hour. I'm standing here for 1 billion years. I mean, I'm standing here for an eternity. And then he asked me how old, is great-great-grandpa Time. 1 second old? 10 minutes old? Is something that's old new? And then he's giving me this thinking man's look and the beard thing going here, I'm like, okay. Mind games and stuff. Let me see. How old is great? How many greats? I don't know. Super great grandpa Time. New baby Time. Let me see here. Is time ancient or is it a baby? Is it 1 second old or is it infinitely old? This is important. We reflect on this. What is your answer to this? We're being asked to have fun with this mind puzzle. We're asked to. This is the meaning of life right here, So what is your answer to this? Is time a baby, or is time like a super great grandpa, or what is time like to you? Not because you thought it, because you knew it was true in your heart. So it was the fabric of your divine truth. It wasn't some simple thought because you wanted to say that, but you actually stopped. And you actually said, okay, the only way you're going to get an A+ on this test is if you actually stop and get serious. And you can also have some fun with it. And what is the truth inside yourself? What is the true answer to that question for you? That's yours. That's you. Like, that's you, the gift, okay? And the gift of you, your answer. And that is a gift. It wasn't just slapped together and marketed as some simple, basic, superficial answer because it was easy and it worked and everybody liked it. But you actually said the freaking truth that exists inside of you that was your truth. You know what I'm saying right now? Because this isn't just talking about time. This is about life too, you know? And how authentic you are. How do you know yourself? How did the art show you who you were? How did you step back to see the bigger picture? How did you answer the question? And now that is you, the gift, okay? Genuine gift. Those are the best kind of gifts, you know? So let me see. In the gift of myself, let me see. How do I want to answer this? I'm looking at time as a person, but I'm looking at time as an emotional state. I'm looking at time as just a tool. It's just a convenient tool. I'm looking at time like maybe like you would look at God, for instance. You look at the whole universe. Time through a human perspective, but eternity. And I think that's the point, Archangel Metatron. I think that's the point. I see an hourglass and there's just one tiny grain in it. Just a tiny grain of sand. But then I start to see thousands of grains of sand. And I start to see how the grains of sand fall through to the other side, and then we flip it, and then we flip it, and then we flip it. Then I see it as empty. Then I see it as broken. And it's weird because when I see it broken, a hand touches it, and the hand gets cut, and there's blood on it. And then I see rewinding time back when there was just a single grain of sand. And the value of putting more sand in it because we decided it was important. And did this original time ever stop existing? In all the ways time changed. And all the important reasons why we did things in time that seemed to make sense. How we got hurt in time. How we tried to reverse the wheels. It's like the wheel of fortune, the wheel of life, you know. Tried to get a better outcome this time. But it all was still in the same timeline. I kind of like thinking of time in a way I never thought about it. That it's brand new. And so in some way, I guess time is everything, you know? Like it is, was, ever will be. It doesn't have to be ancient and awing. It could be brand new. And that we could be standing in brand new time and not even realize it. That it was okay to let go of everything we thought we knew about it. And start with something like a newborn baby. A new timeline. And if that's the case, what now? What is life? What does time mean? Like, what does any of it mean now that it's new? Does it mean what it used to mean? That time is new now, so what does anything mean now? Metatron echoes to me about how we want the answer to be so easy, like 2 plus 2 equals 4. But it's like all the equations of math is the answer. And that there's not one equation better than another equation. And that we work with all the equations to come up with a really reasonable translation, an answer of sorts. And that one answer here to this equation is going to be a little bit different because we're working with the information differently. And that all that is math is useful. And that's why you start to learn the basics and then it gets more and more complicated. And it's sort of like the answer to great grandpa time versus baby time. Old ancient time versus new time. And that in some ways all the answers are correct. But what if we just wiped the slate clean, you know? It was just a blank canvas. And there was no math at all. What now? You just wait and find out what comes next. He welcomes us to stand in a place that is our version of a brand new time. And it's not based on our fears of, I don't know, whatever society tells us, some kind of reset button and the horrors of our worst nightmares, our transforming into our material world, or our next enslavement, some scary conversation about modern day time and new time. Has nothing to do with old time and old fears. It's nothing to do with anything that you think you know about anything. It's just a clean slate. It's like a shower and you're sparkly new, and this is the first time you ever looked at yourself in the mirror, and who are you? That's what it means to stand in baby time, new time. And what do you see? And I just make this side joke because they say, Metatron, you're not going to be an old man anymore. You're going to be a baby. So it's baby Metatron now for you. And then he smiles and he becomes a baby. But he becomes more than a baby. He becomes like a snowflake. And he becomes more than a snowflake. He becomes like an atom, And it kind of reminds me of like Adam and Eve when I say that. It's not like Adam, it's A-T-O-M. So it's like a building block for the universe. It's like the first man of the human race in this story, you know. It's really a precious symbolic thing it's a symbolic gesture. And it's very loving and clever, you could say. And so it's an opportunity for you to decide what it means to you. Thank you for being a part of this experience with me. I wish you well. Check the description if you're interested in my Patreon community. If you'd like to book an individual session with me, you can go to my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Have a great day, everyone.